Next update at 5:20 from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Kicking off the Redbird Rush Hour on a Tuesday. Matt Pauley is at the ballpark. Kevin Wheeler with you here at our KMOX studios. That was a good way to start the series last night, Matt. That'll work.
That was a fantastic night of baseball. I mean, the left-handers all getting the 4 2-run home runs last night. You had Matthew Liberatore going out, pitching a whale of a game. A lot of really good stuff out of what happened last night.
And we'll take some dingers. I'll tell you that. I'll take dingers.
Yeah, that's you tend to win when you hit multiple home runs.
We always talk about, you don't need home runs to win, but it sure makes it easier. It's not a coincidence that the Cubs have one of the best offenses in baseball, and they hit a lot of dingers.
Yeah, like the three true outcomes thing, which isn't as true now in baseball as it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. But there's a reason that was talked about at one point. And you show me a team that hits a lot of home runs, I'll show you a team that's probably got a pretty good record. Not 100% of the time, but more often than not.
All right, so we got a lot to do today in a very short amount of time. We wrap it up at 5:45 today. Pregame with Matt is at 5:50. And then, of course, the first pitch at 6:45 tonight, Michael McGreevy against Jameson Taillon. So I think an opportunity to pick up a win. Taillon's had a good year, so it's not by any means an automatic, but I think you can get him. Be interesting to see how that goes. All right, so on Tuesdays, we run through some of the interesting things that were discussed on the Gas House Gang with the manager. So Ollie Marmol joins the Gas House Gang at noon every Tuesday, spends a half an hour with the boys, and goes over a bunch of the key topics of the day. So we're going to get to that. We got a couple of things there, a couple of topics we're going to select out of that. We can take some of your messages, so throw them in there on the social media outlet that you're watching us on, or text 314-436-7900. Before we do that, Matt, let's just do a second here. We don't have to do too much, but we had the roster moves today. So McGreevy called up with Rodri Munoz sent down. No big shock. We knew that was coming. And then Jose Barrero designated for assignment. I would go no big shock. Hasn't really done much in the opportunities that he's gotten.
Which is that's a disappointment after a really good spring.
Yeah, he had a really good spring, and he's a very talented guy. He's been prone to lapses in the field in his career, and he swings and misses too much and doesn't make enough contact as a hitter, even though he's got some power. So he is on the way out either to Memphis or could be claimed by someone else. But Garrett Hampson is in, so they picked him up off waivers. 30-year-old utility man, has played second base, third base, shortstop, left field, and center field this year. Most of his big league time has been at second base and center field, but he also has about 650 innings at shortstop. So he's their typical utility guy that can play anywhere. He's got good speed, not much of a hitter, but that's for bench guys. If they were hitters, they'd be regulars. Was
teammates with Nolan Arenado in Colorado, so there's a bit of a connection there as well.
Yeah, so that's what the news is today, and it's not big news, but I think it's a small upgrade for the bench. I don't think it's anything to be excited about. Certainly nothing to be upset about.
I'm a big believer that you should always be looking to upgrade your roster no matter how much you do it. If there's a way to upgrade your roster and it's not going to cost you money or cost you draft picks or anything, but you can get marginally better, go get marginally better, because if you get marginally better time after time after time, all those small margins start to add up to something.
Yeah, so what you're getting now is a veteran who is a much more predictable outcome when you put him out there than what you got with Barrero, but he's going to be filling that role of the 26th man, essentially. The guy that, he's not going to play a lot, but when you do want to play him, he's going to be able to do the job you're asking him to do, because that's his track record. He's 30. He's been doing this for a few years.
We always get transaction text messages when they come in, Kevin, and generally, something can happen in the morning, but we're not going to get that message maybe till later in the day.
Right.
This must have been a last-second thing, because when we walked into the clubhouse today, Jose Barrero's locker was still put together.
Oh, so it must have been quick when they made the move. Yeah. All right, so that's the news of the day. Let's get into a couple things that Ollie talked about today, Matt. And I thought, there were a lot of good things, of course, and coming off a win with the Cubs, and actually a really good stretch here where you won 5 of 6 coming into this. You now won 6 of 7. Things were pretty straightforward, but I thought the conversation was really interesting when we got to the mix of how the outfield can look. And that is, With Victor Scott struggling, do we see Newton center some to get more offense in there? And also little bit about Jordan Walker and kind of his role and his runway as you move forward right now.
Yeah, so you, me, and Bernie talked about this a little bit yesterday, Kevin, and this is an extended answer here by Oliver Marmol, but I think it gives some good insight into playing the guys who deserve to be played, see Nolan Gorman, see Alec Burleson, versus that continued idea of runway for a player like Jordan Walker. And it's a really tough thing to manage and navigate, and this is how Oliver Marmol is thinking through it right now.
It hasn't been easy. It's actually been one of the toughest things to balance throughout the year. I think we've done a good job of balancing runway and opportunity with also playing guys that have earned the right to be in there. So when you look at Herrera going down, it does open up a little bit. It sucks because this guy was one of our best bats, but it does open up a little bit of opportunity for other guys to jump in there and show what they're capable of. But when it comes to Burleson, man, like you talk about runway, it doesn't only apply to Gorman and Walker. Like you're trying to find out who can play and who can't, right? And when someone like Burleson steps up and starts to do some of the things that he's doing, and that's regardless of righty lefty, he's just taking a really professional at bat, then he's earned the right to play. And we'll match him up to give him the best opportunity to continue to have success, and that goes with Walker and Gorman and the other guys as well. But with Walker, man, like there's a responsibility, and it's dual responsibility on me and my staff as well as Jordan to make adjustments to the league, and he's working hard at it. And that I have to give him credit because it's not like he's sitting around just kind of moping. When am I going to be in there again? He's getting after it defensively and offensively. But we need to start to see some of this kind of come into play because there are guys that are stepping in and doing a really nice job. So we'll continue to give them opportunity. It's not like the runway doesn't end, to answer your question. Is some of the playing time limited based on other guys' success? Yeah. I mean, it has to come at somebody's expense, and that's just the nature of the big leagues. There's not a level above this. So I want to reward those that are doing well while also finding opportunities for setting Jordan up for success. But I will say, man, he's working hard. He is coachable. He's trying to take to the things that he's being told and then put it into play. And man, I feel responsible to make sure that I get him in there enough to kind of see this through. So it hasn't been easy, to answer your question, but I feel like we balanced it well. You're looking at him having somewhere around 200 plate appearances at the halfway mark right now. So he's on pace to still get a meaningful amount of at-bats for us to judge what we have and what we don't have going into the next season.
So there's a lot there, but the simple version of it is, and I'm playing translator here, but it's not hard. This is not really, I don't think I'm going on any limbs. That we're going to see a lot more of Gorman than Walker for the time being. I mean, like when you look at it, it means Burleson playing the outfield, which is fine, right? I mean, you can slide him into right field. The one thing that Burleson has as an outfielder is he's got a pretty good arm. He's not the fastest guy, but Walker's not exact. Look, this is the part that's a little bit concerning is that his defense has really slid too. Where if we went back a month ago, he was probably about major league average defensively, and now he's well below that. And that's even with the time missed. So the defense has slid. He has one of the highest strikeout rates in Major League Baseball, and he's got arguably the worst swing and miss rate. His whiff percentage is 37%. That is in the that is in the bottom 1% of Major League Baseball, which means nobody has a worse whiff rate. So at this point, it's not like, I think Ollie's good point there, Matt, is you're not sacrificing runway for Walker to get an older, washed-up player in there. It's so that another younger player who's performing better, in this case Gorman, gets more play.
And I put Burleson in there as well because Burleson wasn't getting a lot of playing time. Let's take a second.
He's got 228 at bats. I mean, he's played a lot.
But there was a period there where he was having a really hard time.
Yeah, there was a short stretch.
Yeah, and he worked his off, and he has put himself in a really good spot now where he's become a dangerous hitter. And really, the handedness issues that we've seen throughout his career are minimized this year as well. It's not quite as pronounced as it has been previously. So give credit to the Nolan Gormans and to the the Alec Burlesons, they have put themselves in position to be able to earn more playing time. And as the young guys, it's an opportunity to get a look at them and say, is this somebody that's going to be part of this organization moving forward?
Absolutely. And as I brought up with you and Bernie yesterday, if Nolan Gorman can work on things on the side when he's not playing very much and get better, then Jordan Walker can do the same stinking thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be looking forward to. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about center field in a minute. Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you here. Redbird Rush Hour with the Cardinals and the Cubs coming up at 6:45 on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
When it comes to DSPs, usability matters. Some platforms bury you in complexity. Results-driven advertising shouldn't look like a chemistry experiment. Viant's AI-powered DSP streamlines setup, automates measurement and optimization, and keeps you in control. Less clicking, more strategy. And with proven CTV leadership across premium publishers, Viant works smarter and delivers stronger. Why are you still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
I love being able to tell you about i3 Broadband. And I can just tell, like walking around my neighborhood, I can't tell you how often I see i3 Broadband trucks going around. I can always tell when folks are getting i3 Broadband installed in their homes because I see the wires coming out. And then you know what? A day or two later, they get buried. That's one of the wonderful things about i3 Broadband. Everything is underground. So weather and things like that do not impact their internet service the way that maybe it does with the cable company. You get a small little storm come through and all of a sudden your internet's down and you don't know when it's going to come back. No matter what internet you need, they start below 1 gig all the way up to 8 gig. They always download and upload. The download and upload speeds are always mirrored. I'm saving so much money. I have the 2 gig package at my home, 2 gig up, 2 gig down. I'm spending less money than I did for lesser 1 gig service with the cable company. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in, i3broadband.com. That's i3broadband.com. If you need new internet, maybe you don't even know you need it. You might, though. i3 Broadband's the place to go, i3broadband.com.
Tom Ackerman here, joining Busey Bank in recognizing Ron Doherty for building community. President and CEO Ron Doherty has been strengthening our communities for 40 years. After merging Doherty Business Solutions with CGI, he launched Doherty Enterprises and Foundation, which supports the Alzheimer's Association, other worthy causes, and innovative solutions with millions of dollars annually. Follow Doherty Enterprises on LinkedIn to learn more.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. The Doherty Foundation supports the Alzheimer's Association and other causes financially, while Doherty Enterprises uses AI and advanced technology to provide support and relief to patients and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's and other dementia diseases. Follow their lead. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, troubles if you're coming downtown for the ball game tonight. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The 2 right lanes are blocked now for this overturned crash on eastbound 70 at Jennings Station. Traffic's a solid jam back at Hanley. Westbound 70 Gawker's backed up around Shreve to that point. In downtown, eastbound 64, we had an earlier crash. They cleared it. Now we have a stall at 14th Street in the right lane, so there's still a little bit of a backup there. And 64 jam both ways between 70 and the Poplar Street Bridge because of the emergency repair work going on eastbound at Exchange on 5570. And that's also got the Musel Veterans Bridge bogged down back to the Missouri side. Westbound 64 Kings Highway out to Big Ben's heavy. South 170 at Jam from about Olive most of the way to Brentwood. North 170 delays north of Page up to 70, doing parts of the eastbound 70 back up there. Southbound 270 Jam, Page still do, busy both ways between there and a point south of Manchester. Big Bend southbound midway down to Gravois heavy. 64 both ways through the Chesterfield Parkways heavy. It's slow out to about Long Road. 94 midway out to Winghaven and Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. 364 Youngerman almost all the way to K has got heavy congestion. 70 westbound T.R. Hughes through K and Lake St. Louis out past 61 is slow. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Roger Brand in the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
Right back into the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. And obviously Cardinals baseball coming your way. Cards and Cubs at 6:45, 5:54. The pregame show, it'll be Michael McGreevy for the Cards and Jameson Taillon for the Cubs. Matt, the other thing that we had talked about, or that we discussed from the Gas House Gang today that Ollie Marmol talked about, was another outfield-related issue. And that had to do with Victor Scott, who's been fighting it, man. I mean, he's playing good center field. He's doing a fantastic job out there. And his offense is not where it was early in the year, but it's, I think, still a little bit more offense than they were getting out of Ciani last year. So there's that kind of balance to it. But he did, there was a conversation today about whether or not we could see Newt at times out there when you're looking for more offense.
Yeah, and it's a conversation we had a lot during spring training.
It is,
Kevin.
and in the winter. Yeah.
And yeah, look, they've put him out there a little bit, Newt Bar, but not a whole lot. And as you listen to Ollie speak today, he basically said that, look, they'll put Newt out there, but the goal here is to get Victor Scott II rolling once again.
We'll pop him over there from time to time, but we really do need to get Victor going. He's making some adjustments with his hands and trying to get back to what he was doing earlier in the season. We understand how he's getting pitched. He's having a better understanding of that as well, and we got to find a way to combat it. It's been good for him to go through this. Obviously, you don't want to see it, but he's learning a lot during this stretch where things aren't going well for him. But his defense, man, it's hard to replace that. And one of the strengths of this club is our defense. So to trade that strictly for potential offense isn't ideal. We'll mix and match from time to time and throw Newton in center to answer the question. But I think we need to stick to what has given us success, and that's been playing good defense.
I mean, on a certain level, it makes sense. And I think, again, that's a fine general operating principle. But as you and I have kicked around, and it's mostly me droning on about it, but there are times where you sacrifice defense for offense. But there just are. There are times when you need to do that. I don't know that right now is one of those times. I mean, with Burleson going well and Contreras going well, and Gorman has been going well here when he's gotten his playing time. I mean, like, there's enough good happening on the offensive side where you probably don't need to force that very often, but there may come a time when you need more offense. One is not more important than the other. In fact, if one is more important, it would be offense being more important. But it's not something that needs to be done on a full-time basis.
We're also, and give all the credit in the world to Lars Nootbaar. He's seemingly come out of this terrible funk that he wasn't in. But we're not talking about, some guy who's just hitting the living what out of the ball right now,
right,
and moving him into center field where the offense is clearly going to be better than what you're getting defensively from Scott. And this goes back to what we talked about in the last segment, Kevin, about if you're going to give runway to somebody or take runway away, and I really wish we would stop using the word runway, but here we are. You don't want to do it for an older guy. Well, Victor Scott II, not an older guy. So if there is somebody to go ahead and continue to put out there on an everyday basis and let him work through things, you're still getting something out of him.
Yes, but, and again, this is a minor argument. This is really not a big one. But based on the logic being applied for Jordan Walker, if he needs time to work on things and all of that, I mean, because Victor Scott's not been any better offensively than Jordan Walker has on the season. So if you look at Jordan Walker's expected weighted on base, it's 279, and for Victor Scott, it's 286. So they're not that far removed from what they're doing with the quality of their as. Now, again, Victor's a much better defender. He's an elite center fielder, which definitely leans towards him playing more. It's just more about being willing to adapt, and at times maybe that lets you get Sajaci in the lineup against a lefty. So when you can do something like that and give yourself a chance when you need it, that's great. But it's not something that you're going to do every day.
Okay, you can sell me on the whole, get Sajaci in there every once in a while. While
he's here, because he won't be here forever.
okay, I'll buy that. Like that, there's no argument there. But if we're all of a sudden going to say it's an opportunity to get more offense out of Newtbar and center so you can have Walker and Burleson in the corners, I'm going to push back at that point because right now you get more out of Victor Scott II with his defense and what he does on the bases when he gets on there compared to what you're getting out of Walker.
But again, there still may be times to do that where you're trying to get Walker in and it's against the lefty, and Victor Scott is struggling against lefties. I mean, just a fact because he's struggling against everybody. So again, that's why it's not a big yelly thing, because nothing we're talking about needs to be an everyday switch, right? Everything we're talking about is being willing to adapt to circumstances, and this might mean some Donovan in the outfield to get Sajaci in there. Of course, the complaint part here, because I can't go a show without a complaint, is that of course you still never given Sajaci any reps in the damn outfield. You don't want to play Donovan out there. You can't play Gorman out there, but you've never even taken the opportunity to get Sajaci reps out there in the minors. All right, that's it. The only complaint for the day.
I'm glad you got it out of your system.
How useful would that be, though, if you could just plop him out there right now?
It would be. It absolutely would be.
And it's not like he can't do it.
Right.
It's left field, man. If you can play shortstop in the major leagues, you can play left field.
Unless you just cannot catch a long fly ball.
I think he'd be okay at that.
I think he would be fine.
All right, we got pregame coming up at 5:50. We're done at 5:45. First pitch between the Cardinals and the Cubs is coming up at 6:45 here on KMOX.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands. Because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song. Hey Cardinal fans, hydrate like a champ. Head to the ballpark Saturday, July 12th as the Cardinals take on the Braves. That day, 20,000 fans 16 and older score a City Connect tumbler courtesy of Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Stay cool and sip in style all summer long with this 30-ounce stainless steel tumbler. Don't miss out on this fan-favorite giveaway. Grab your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Hi, I'm Gloria Liu, broker-owner at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And for over 20 years, I've been getting my home sellers the most money for their home and selling faster than the average agent. So when you're ready to sell your home or have questions, call me.
And I'm Debbie Monterey. For years, I've been telling you about Gloria Liu and why you should call her. Gloria has solutions and programs for every seller because she understands that every situation is different. Call Gloria and get your free instant home valuation, choose from multiple cash offers, or sell with certainty this summer because Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she will pay the difference. Hey, the St. Louis market is shifting. Now is a great time to call and get to know Gloria Liu like I have. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores, but more specifically 213 Complex, which is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement on the market, and they always have top of the line at Supplement Superstores. So what I'm getting that I like the most is the appetite control, the cravings control, but I'm also getting the boost to the metabolism that lasts 24 hours a day. I'm getting the all-day focused energy, lowering those cortisol levels too, which can help you get a more restful night's sleep. So go to Supplement Superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and you'll get 30% off the 213 Complex. You can find your Supplement Superstores at supplementsuperstores.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. Progressive is here for all of life's needs with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at progressive.com.
At 5:30, we've got some sun, some clouds. It is 91 degrees downtown at the Arch. Attorney General Andrew Bailey is calling on embattled St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery to resign by noon tomorrow or face attempted removal.
Sheriff Montgomery read a prepared statement to the press later in the day, stating his refusal to resign and calling the accusations baseless.
Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey issued a public demand for my resignation by noon tomorrow. Not based on proven facts, not based on any court ruling, but on what's been described as widely published and disturbing allegations.
However, after, Montgomery did not stay to answer the media's questions.
I will continue to do my duties as the sheriff in protecting the courts. Thank you.
He instead left that to his attorney, David C. Mason. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
President Trump says the truce is back on between Iran and Israel. CBS News correspondent Erica Brown reports the president says he's been getting international praise for the way he handled the conflict.
Ahead of his arrival in Europe for the NATO summit, the president posted a screenshot of a message from NATO's Secretary General congratulating him for decisive action in Iran, saying it was something no one else dared to do.
The last hotel cost $60 million to renovate. Now the Downtown West Hotel in the former International Shoe Building by City Museum is for sale for $16.5 million. The hotel closed suddenly in March after a legal dispute between the hotel's majority owner and his business partner. The 142-room hotel on Washington Avenue had been under contract to an unnamed group, but according to the Business Journal, it fell through. The St. Louis Blues will look different when players hit the ice next season.
The Blues are going with their Winter Classic uniforms from 2017 and 2022 as their primary uniform moving forward. The modernized version of the iconic Blue Note as well includes a move from 3 colors to 2, beige removed from the previous heritage-style note, thicker blue and yellow key lines, and a slight reshaping of the note. The recalibrated Blue Note will be featured on the new home and away jerseys and the classic blue and yellow first worn in 1967. Tom Ackerman, KMOX Sports.
For tonight, partly cloudy, warm, humid with the low 75. For Wednesday, plenty of sunshine, hot, humid, and the high 95, but the heat index 105. Could also see a pop afternoon storm tomorrow. Low tomorrow night, 76, and Thursday's high, 97. That is not the heat index, that is the air temperature. Right now, we stand at 91 degrees downtown at the Arch, and the feels like is 95. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Guys, I want to tell you about Game Day Men's Health. Just if you're driving and you can't write anything down or you don't want to do a voice memo, just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. It's easy enough to remember and see what they have to offer. This is what I did. It's about 4 months ago now is when I began treatment. So I went in for my initial consultation, and they do a blood test, and they say, all right, here's what we can do for you. By the way, your testosterone numbers are low. That's probably why you're dragging. That's probably why your legs feel dead a lot of the time. It's probably why you don't feel like you're recovering from workouts the way that you want to, and we can help you with that. So I said, yes, please help me with that. And I'm telling you, I've said this almost every day, every time I've done a live here recently. I notice the difference every single day. Every single day, I feel better than I did 4 months ago. That's not BS. It's not a lie. It's not anything made up. It is the reality. No matter what that day is, a busy day, an easy day, a workout day, a non-workout day, every day I feel better from the TRT. Now, maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you're looking for something else. They have peptide options. You can look at medical weight loss. They have ED treatments. Whatever you need, they can cover you. Every treatment is overseen by board-certified physicians. The staff are trained experts. It's a very cool, relaxed environment. It's super easy, too, because once you go through, they explain everything to you. You get one price explained up front. That is it. Any adjustments, consultations, whatever, it's all included in that price. And you've got 3 area locations. I know the Chesterfield and the O'Fallon, Missouri locations personally. You can find out more and find a location near you at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health.
Celebrate Independence Day with a free concert by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America. July 2nd, 7 p.m. at Logan University in Chesterfield, showcasing patriotic music and more. Get free tickets at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt?
Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Cash for Clunkers is back. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. Schedule online at overheaddoorslouis.com or call 314-781-5200. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
I'm Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you at the Redbird Rush Hour. We'll be done here in about 8 minutes. And, of course, pregame is at 5:50. First pitch, 6:45 tonight. Michael McGreevy making the start for the Cardinals. Jamison Taillon for the Cubs. And that brings us to the Game Day Men's Health Peak Performer. Get back to the top of your game with Game Day Men's Health. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Matt, why not feature Michael McGreevy here? He's done nothing but produce when he's been called upon at the major league level. One thing I find interesting about him is he's not a big velocity guy. He's not a guy that's going to be throwing the ball by you. His average fastball is about 92 miles an hour, but his fastball is incredibly effective. And he has a characteristic that a lot of the more advanced teams like to target, and that is extension. He gets great extension. He's a 6'4" guy, so he's got long arms, long legs. He gets down the mound. He releases the ball closer to home plate, which makes 92 seem like 94, 95. And it's a little surprising to a hitter when you see 92 look like 94, 95. So there's a reason that fastball's good.
Yeah, what you just said, I mean, that's a huge part of being able to be successful as a pitcher. And, there's some guys who are throwing, and if the fastball is still accelerating as it gets to the catcher. Like, they haven't hit their max velocity. So how else can you add, like, perceived velocity? Well, one way to do that beyond throwing harder is to get that extension out and make it seem like you're actually closer to the batter so they have less time to be able to react.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. You are actually closer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was the big, we didn't know it at the time. We didn't have a measurement for it. We knew it, like you knew it. If you talked to a hitter who faced Randy Johnson, they knew it. It looked like he was setting the ball in the catcher's mitt because he's 6'11". His stride is that long. So instead of releasing the ball, let's say 7 feet closer than 60 feet. So instead of releasing it at 53 feet, he's releasing it at like 51 feet. So it's actually 2 feet shorter of a distance, which makes 96 look like 100. And that's kind of the dynamic that McGreevy has, not to that extreme, but pitchers who get good extension. And this is something that a lot of teams that are, the advanced thinking pitching teams, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, teams like that, they're looking at extension as one of the key characteristics for fastball effectiveness. And I think we're seeing it with McGreevy.
Yeah, and it's not something you can flash up on the board and it's easy for fans to understand. This is something
you got to dig
where
a little bit.
Yeah, this is where it goes a little deeper, and this is where some fans kind of jump off, but this is the stuff that really can make the difference.
Well, it's funny because it really just is the measurement of things we always knew existed, because they would always say, this guy's got an extra 2 feet on his fastball. That's how a scout used to say it. Or the rising fastball was a thing. Well, it's not rising, but that's the high spin rate four-seam fastball. We just now know the measurements as opposed to talking about it in theory. We can talk about it in reality. All right, we got a little bit more to get to here in a second, but let's check the roadways. Apparently things are pretty crazy out there, so we'll catch up with Captain Roger Brand and get back to the Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kevin. Especially downtown, it is still a mess. This traffic reports service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 64 both ways is a total jam downtown. Eastbound, it goes from Jefferson all the way over onto 5570 at Exchange, and westbound from the 70 split all the way across the Poplar to the Missouri side. It's just crawling. Avoid 64 on the Illinois side if you can. Eastbound 70 east of the Mutual Veterans is backed up. If you're on eastbound Highway 70 coming in for the ball game, Hanley into about Lucas Hunt's jam because of an earlier crash at Jennings Station. Northbound 170 delays from Midland up through Natural Bridge. Left lane roadwork, the problem there. Southbound 170 ball game jam from Olive all the way down to Brentwood. Westbound 64 Kings Highway out through McCausland. It's slow Lindbergh to 270. It's slow a couple spots between K and Winghaven and Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to 70. Northbound 61 before Wentzville Parkway crash. It's backed up down to 6470. 70's backed up at A because of it. South 270 still heavy from Page all the way down through Manchester. Northbound Manchester will do busy. Big Bend down through Gravois, a couple of slow spots. Westbound 44 heavy at Lindbergh as well. And eastbound 270, folks going that way, Bell Fountain, all the way over to Route 3. There's a crash reported there. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
All right, diving right back into the Redbird Rush Hour. Good luck with everybody out there getting down to the ball game. It's obviously a bit hectic on the roadways, but you'll be fine. You got an hour still, more than an hour before first pitch, and looking forward to seeing the matchup. Matt, we had I think again, this is a really interesting series. Tonight could really be the key that opens the door to a series win, whether that's 3 out of 4. I mean, obviously this is the key to a sweep. You can't sweep without winning all of them. But I think you have a matchup that can work for you tonight with Tyone. And I know his numbers are pretty good this year. But I also know you can get to him. And I think the Cardinals have the kind of team that can get to him because they're not the big swing and miss. They're not going to do too much of getting themselves out. They've been putting the ball in play. And I do like the way that they've structured this with the current group, just going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, all the way down 1 through 9. I think that works for them.
Guy you can get, you mentioned it, the fact that he is having a nice season. He comes in, his overall numbers this year are perfectly good. He's got a sub-4 ERA, 7-4 record, but he's gettable. He is a very gettable guy. We do now know what it's going to look like the rest of the series. The Cardinals had not announced that until earlier today.
All right.
They'll go Eric Fedde and Andre Palante tomorrow and then Thursday to wrap things up. I don't know if have the Cubs announced. They probably haven't. Cubs have announced. Actually, they have. Cubs will go Boyd tomorrow, and Imanaga's coming back
on Thursday.
Which has widely been reported, and that he's going to start on Thursday.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the last 2 games. This is why I think this is an important one for the Cardinals. Because of all those lefties, they just don't match up as well. And I know you can get JC in there, but you don't have as many weapons right now from the right side as you do from the left side.
Boyd's having a great season,
and Boyd's
too.
been really good, and Imanaga's really good. You don't know what he's going to be coming off the injured list, but it's kind of why I think tonight's important. It's not do or die or anything like that, but I think tonight's important in that regard to have that opportunity to give yourself a series win, because it's going to be tough to win both of the next 2 games.
Right. I think that's you said it. I can't say any better. The path to taking 3 out of 4 includes winning today.
Yeah. And this is just a bigger picture thing. We only got a minute, but I think that this is why I love a long baseball season. This is why I love this season more than I love an NFL season or a basketball or hockey season. Even though those are all long on the calendar. The number of games just allows for so many twists and turns, right? A month ago, the Cardinals were like, oh, my God, this team is never going to lose. They're unbelievable. And then for the last few weeks, it's been, are they going to figure it out? And now it's back to they've won 6 out of 7. They're only 3.5 games out of first place. Like, that's why you just got to keep your cool over the course of a season. There's plenty to celebrate, and there's plenty to complain about for real at the end of the season.
Yeah, look, Ollie said it today. Like, people, the roller coaster, hop off the roller coaster and just watch this thing play out. So, if you live and die with the winning or losing record over 1 week to the next, not great.
Not at all. Well, I mean, again, it's okay to ride it, but just don't let it take you too far down into the depths. All right, buddy, have a good pregame show. Looking forward to it. Stay cool at the ballpark out there. Matt Pauley's got pregame coming up in minutes here on KMOX.